Hello mom friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to learn how to put a triple heart homecoming mum backer together. We're going to start with how we put our round backers together and prep our backers so that we can use a little assembly trick that we have that makes it really easy to put the triple backer together. It's actually a trick that Rayanne learned on TikTok. I don't know, it's a season ago, and she kind of changed it up so that it would work for us in our business. And I will tell you, prior to last season, I did not want to put triple backers together. Rayanne was the guru. I would give me a single mom, I would put it together all day long, but she did the triple backers. And actually last season, you know, sometimes life happens in homecoming season, right? Believe it or not. And Rayanne had to go, and she had them all prepped for me the way that we're going to learn in this video. And I went from being scared to put triple backers together to this is nothing. This is just like putting a single mom together. So we're going to go through that. We're going to go through a new trick that Rayanne learned, and she's going to teach it to me for the first time today. And so we decided that the best way to do this video, because we know we will have some people that have come to our channel that are maybe you've put a couple moms together and now you've got a junior and they want a heart, or maybe you've never put a mom together. Watch our video, and I feel like after, if you will follow the steps that we use, you will be set and you will be a guru too and ready to put together your first triple heart backer. So we decided that I was going to do the assembly and Rayanne was going to walk me through it, because that way there would be some questions that might come up as if you were doing it for the first time. So I'm really excited to get started on this. I know everybody in our live wanted to see it, and so let's get started. Okay, so this is our deluxe triple. This is the template that you make everything off of, right? And this is our deluxe, which is kind of our middle line. And then these are 7-inch backers, and we use either 7-inch rounds or the McGinley kind of outside of the ribbon for all of our backers, right? So you just basically line them up here, right? Yes. For the size. Okay.
And then be sure not to staple in the middle.
Okay, that's because of that new trick, right? Okay, so I'm gonna staple it here, and probably 2 staples on each side, kind of to secure it. Okay, so I'll check that. Looks good, right? So then I use this one, right?
Yes.
And this will give us kind of the
heart shape almost.
The heart shape. And this, you like these because they're slightly larger, right? Than and it also, so we only have to carry one backer. Yeah. Do you put 2 staples in this one?
I usually do put 2.
Okay. And we had thought about making our own backers, but we just decided time-wise, I wish they wouldn't keep going up in price, but okay. So that's all lined up. So then what is the next thing we need to do?
We need to create the pipe cleaner holes.
Oh, the pipe cleaner holes. Okay. And so you have a little template here, right? So that I know what to do. I'll watch the template. I'll do it on this side.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And the pipe cleaners are to help anchor the mum backer to the strip of the braids and the skirt that we have.
Yeah, this is that little trick that I was telling you on our live that Rayanne figured out on TikTok, and then you've kind of taken it and made it your own, but it made it to where I'm not scared to put triples together. So is that what you just make a 4-inch line so I kind of know where I'm going? So it's going to be 4 inches from the top, right? And that's so that
at the top.
At the top. That's so that we kind of know
it's the same spot
where the strip's going to be, right? So that when we put it together. Okay, so we know that's where our holes are going to be, and then we're going to go from the center of this, right? I think I'm going to use my little thing because it's my favorite. So we're going to go, during mum season, this stays around my neck because I use it for cutouts. Okay, so like 1.5. Okay, and then I'm going to go 1 more inch, right?
Yes.
So 2.5.
But they're going to be up on that line right there.
Oh, yes, thank you. That's why Rayanne is here and teaching it, not me. Okay, so 1.5. and 2.5, right? And then I'm going to go over here, and that would be 1.5, right?
Is it? I don't know.
I guess
okay.
that's why you use this clear one.
Yes.
See, there's reasons why I do some things and Rayan does others. Okay, so this is up here, 1.5, right? Right there. And then we need to go from the center of the hole, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And then from that mark, you'll go 1 inch over.
Okay, so this is 1.5, and then I'll just go 1 inch over from there. Okay, I'm gonna mark that. Okay, and just to kind of show you again, so we went 4 inches from the bottom, and then we went through the center of the hole, we went 1.5, and then 1 more inch, and then 1.5, and then 1 more inch that way. Okay, and then you use the weeding tool, right, for this? It's
just be careful.
Yes, to be careful with your fingers, but you just found that this works the best, right? And you can get in the easiest.
You can't use a hole punch because it's too far in.
And it kind of creates the nice right size hole, right? Okay, so I'm going to poke this, but I'm going to make sure my finger's not underneath there, and you just kind of move it around.
Right. And if you want to flip it over so I see.
Yeah, and it goes all the way through. Okay, now this one's going to be a little more difficult because it's going through. I guess that other one went through too as well. Actually, that one's a little bit easier. Okay, and then I'm going to do it again, right, over here. Okay, and then I need a pipe cleaner, right?
Yes.
And you use a whole pipe cleaner cut in half?
Yep.
I like to learn by doing, and all of these backers have just magically appeared for me, and I told Rayan I needed to be able to actually do one on my own. Last year I learned how to assemble a triple. This year I'm going to learn how to make a backer. Okay, just cut it in half. Okay.
And because we do the pipe cleaner to help put those hearts together and the quads, it's easier if you spend like a couple hours one day just prepping a whole bunch. You may not know how many you're going to make, but just set a goal of like, I'm going to make 15, and then they're ready to go. It's a lot easier to.
And didn't you send me a picture of a bunch of backers, all of the 4 drying? I'll put that up so you guys can see it. Okay, I'm going to put it, and I just put them through like this, right? And it is a little bit more prep work, but I promise you, when you go to assemble this, you will be so, so grateful.
Especially after a couple of days of making mums into mum season and you're exhausted.
Or when you're like me and you've never put a triple together by yourself, and Rayan had to go somewhere and I had to put 5 together by myself, and I did it because you had it all set for me. Okay, so I'm going to twist this really tight, right? Okay, that's just so we can secure that pipe cleaner on the other side, right? Okay, and then we're going to turn it over, right?
And then you'll want to use the McGinley.
Oh yeah, this is where the McGinleys come in. And what we're going to do is we're going to put these here, and that's going to mean when we do our loops, it's going to keep you from having that awkward, right? You'll just be able to, a straight, it's going to be a straight heart basically. And so you just kind of eye it, right? You just kind of cut it about right there. And these don't have to be perfectly the same size, right? Because they're just kind of going to go in there. Okay. And then I'm going to put it like this, right? The straight edge. Yes. See, I'm learning too, you guys. Okay, so it's going to go like this, right?
Yes.
Okay. And just 2 staples. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Make sure you don't get your pipe cleaner. And do you do this for the quads as well?
Yes. Okay. So it makes more of an oval instead of a rectangle quad. Okay.
So now we're going to add some hot glue, right?
That's just to reinforce the holes. I mean, I feel more secure with it. I don't really, know if it truly works to help, but
it makes you feel better.
Yes, it makes me feel better.
Okay, so we're going to put this on here. And then we can put this aside and let it dry, and then we'll come back and we're ready to put loops on, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so with the magic of video, we have our glue all dried. That's one of the best benefits of doing it in the off season, right? They're just ready to go, just like a regular single backer. Okay, so turn it over, right?
Yes.
And we're gonna do Jessica's deal first before we do what we normally do, right?
Right.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it in half, right? So line it up. Use these blue lines to line up the top, so we know it's squared this way, right? And then we get that right in the center.
Yes.
Right, and then we're gonna take our ruler. And we're just going to put it on that blue line.
You'll just draw one vertical line that you're going to
And so we're going to line our ruler up with the blue line there and the blue line there. And then just draw a line down, right?
Yes.
And then it may not, this is just really to help us kind of guide, right?
Right. Because once you fold it, you may have to adjust your fold.
Okay.
Because, you know, it's not perfect.
Right.
Aligned, but.
Well, I did. It's not going to be perfect. Okay. And then you said you used the scraper, right?
Yes, I found that was really easy to kind of line up on the line you drew.
Kind of anchors it, right?
It.
So like you use this side of the scraper,
yes.
right? Okay, and then we're just gonna kind of fold it, right? Oh, that really does crease it like that. Okay, so we'll just kind of make those.
And then
creases.
you'll take the scraper out and test
and
it
see how well I did. I think I did okay down at the bottom. So do I need to kind of move it a little bit further, or mainly?
If you can, and then like to make the fold adjust, you can run the scraper down the fold.
Okay, yeah, that'll make it kind of nice and crisp, right? Okay, and then we're gonna open it back up, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then this is our front side, right?
Correct.
This is the side. Just so you'll know, the side where the glue is like the front of your backer. That's where we're gonna put our loops. Okay, and then
because you want to make sure that the pipe cleaner you can see is on the back, because that's where the strip will go.
That's where we're going to attach it. This is going to be the back part of our mum. Okay, so then we're ready to do our loops. And I know that I struggle with a triple backer because getting them all even and getting the shape. So you said Jessica's new trick will really help this. And so Rain, help me with this. I'm going to go, we kind of angle this one just a little bit, right?
I would put the other one up as well on the top.
Oh, to kind of see.
Kind of know how much of an angle.
Because it probably needs to come out a little bit. And you want it kind of touching, kind of like that?
That's what I do, is just touching.
Okay. Just like this, right? Okay. And then put this one to the side, and I'm just going to staple this one, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we're going to fold it. And we're going to fold it this way. Okay, so the front part of the mum's always going to be there.
Yes.
Okay. And this is where we have to thank Jessica at Game Day Mums.
Yes.
Jessica is in Rockwall, and she makes, oh no, this one kind of moved a little bit on me. You know what? I think I used to, when I was doing this, do you do it? I used to put 2 staples in these to keep them from moving, but that was just me. Okay.
Well, and I probably didn't put 2 because I would always have to pull them out and readjust them.
And now we're not going to have to, right? Right. Okay, so we're going to put it this way, right? And so this is, what's the goal of this? To make them perfectly even and spaced right. And the same width. Or the same height, I guess, coming off the, okay. So we're going to line these up just perfectly together, right? And then I think I'm going to put 2 in this one like I did the other one. And then, oh my goodness, they're Thank you, Jessica at Game Day Mums. And Jessica is in Rockwall. She makes amazing mums, so you should check her out if you're in that area. So then you said these, you kind of do it by the way that they touch, right?
And then the rest of them, you're going to start making the shape of a heart.
Okay.
But this is our deluxe level, and so we do 2 layers.
I feel like that those are not even, and I think that was user error. I think I put those, see how it's not? And that, I'm sure, was user error. So I guess even when Sabrina does it, you have to pull a staple out real quick. So let's try this one more time and see if I really do it like I'm supposed to and not talk. Okay, so I'm going to line them up, and then I want to make, if you squeeze it, it helps a little bit. That's okay. That's a good thing to do, because now I know they're the same, right? Okay. See, sometimes you learn by mistakes, because now I will always remember to do that.
I always learn by mistakes.
I know, me too. Oh yeah, much better. Okay. And then this one I'm going to put over here, right?
And then put the secondary loop
so that I can make sure there's not a gap. So what do you say, kind of like right there maybe? because then when I do that.
Right, then it looks
Okay.
full. You don't
Okay.
have a hole.
And I just kind of make sure those are the same,
Mhm.
right? Because I can look at those since they're
We
right
want it to
beside
start
each other.
curving down like a heart.
Okay. And I'm going to put a staple in that one. And I'm just going to fold it again, right?
And this is where the wonderfulness of this trick is that you fold it and then you line the other one up.
And I'm going to squeeze it. I can see now how squeezing it really does help you get like the height. It's easy to get the width the same. And I can see how the heart, this really helps you get the angle the same,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that really helps you get the, which is, I think that's the hardest part about the heart is the angle. Okay. So we're just moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna put this one, and I know I saw on that how that one kind of lines up with the red. Can I kind of do this the same thing? It's probably gonna be about the same. I know it's good to check it. I know. So kind of like that.
Yes.
Okay.
And that curve is the hardest part for me. It's like,
And I was thinking that we would fast forward through this, but honestly, I think the heart is so difficult that it's good to go through every single one. Okay. So then this one will go over here, right?
Mm-hmm. And some people may be heart masters, and
yes,
we need all the tips and tricks and guidance.
But see, it's good that I do it because I hardly do these. So it's like you're teaching someone that has never done a heart backer before. And I know that we probably, you know, if you have a junior for the first time, you may be tackling your first heart. It may not be your first mom, but it may be your first heart. Okay. And then here in a minute, you're going to show them how to really make it look like a heart too, right? With that little flower trick. Okay, so then we're going to come over here, right? It's probably good to still keep it like this and turn it, right? So that you can really kind of eyeball it and know. So I'm going to go kind of like that. And then put it like that. Okay. And that's where these really come in handy. I can see that on the next one.
Right. I know some people use other backers. I think they call them, I don't know, the double backer, and they lay them over.
Those
and make
pill
a heart.
backers, right? They call them a pill backer. We just like these because it lets our heart be a little bit bigger, right?
Right.
And we only have to carry one type of backer.
That's really the ease of it all is. So I think for a couple of seasons we have 7-inch backers, 6-inch backers, 5.5-inch backer. It's just.
Yeah. And then earlier today, you know, every year you kind of change and you make more efficient. We were on the phone figuring out how to kind of make like our double diagonal and our triple have the same width of skirts so that that's less skirts to prep. So you kind of every year you.
I think that was it Misty?
I think it was Missy when she had said, when she had told me, how do I do this one?
Well, that one I would kind of, I wouldn't put it as such
it's
an
not going to
angle.
be as such an angle.
Right.
Oh, it's going to come. That's what this really helps, right? Because it's now they're going to stop crisscrossing each other, right? So they don't really crisscross at all. And so is that where I kind of am going to use this to make sure?
To make sure it's evenly spaced.
Okay. Does that look good?
Yeah.
Okay, that looks ran good. Yeah, I remember. I think it was Misty I think it was at the bling that I went to that you weren't there. Like, so we've been to bling twice, and one year I had senior stuff and couldn't go, and then the next year you had senior stuff and couldn't go, and so we each went to bling, and then last year we both got to go together. But it was at that bling. Misty had said, and she's in Houston. Misty's in Houston, right? Monstrosities by Misty's. She's amazing. But she said, you know, when you're making all those crazy shapes, make sure they're no wider than your quad backer, because then you can always use your quad skirt. And so we kind of took that and applied it.
Right.
So then I'm gonna go here.
And those will probably overlay a little more.
They kind of overlay a little bit more. Okay. But I only do one, right? Because that one I'm going to do on the opposite side, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have to get used to this simplicity of Jessica's new folding trick. Okay. Right? And then I'm just going to put this one.
Yes.
Make sure it's good and even, right? And then we just have one last one to do, right?
Then I would
Or
put the secondary.
You sometimes put the and it depends on what loops you're using, right? Like what size loops. But you just kind of finish it, and don't you do it a little bit lower? So would you put this one first, or would you start back up here and do the secondary last?
I don't know if it really matters. Well, honestly, I would do the top and the bottom last.
Okay.
Because you're on the fold there.
Okay.
So, because you can still line them up when you're doing the secondary loops as well.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let me get all my secondary ones and we'll be right back. Okay, so we have our secondary, and these are 16, right? These are 40s, and these are 16. So you said you would start here?
I wouldn't start in the center because of the fold.
Because we know we can, okay.
And you can still
and
use
we're going to
that
do the same fold trick? Okay, so I can just kind of put this one right here.
Now these secondary loops are a little bit harder to get into.
And staple, right? Okay. And then we fold it, right? And we do the opposite. I'm so used to just going around in a circle. I mean, I'm sure once I get used to it, it kind of becomes...
It's always good to see how far you have it out.
Second nature. I mean, it's a little harder to line these up, right? But this is where probably that squeezing it together really, really helps, right? Okay. And then we'll staple this one in there. Okay. We're moving along. And then we'll do the same thing here, right? I feel like the secondary ones are easier from a shape standpoint. Oh, I don't need to do that yet. I've got to stay with. I feel like the secondary ones are easier from a shape standpoint because the first layer is already kind of anchored your shape. Do you do that trick sometimes and cut this to get in there?
Yes, that was another trick somebody showed us.
So we can just cut that, right?
And then cut another V, then you would fold
And then
it.
we can just fold it and kind of use our stapler. And then that lets us get our stapler in there, right? I use that on the singles all the time, or that's another reason why I love the McGinley ones. Okay, so I got that stapled in there. And then I'm going to fold it again, right? We're the same way about having these exactly. Sometimes we fix those when everything's all done. Okay.
I don't know if you want to use that stapler.
Do you think the V8 might be better?
I think so, because you're going to get maybe
because you've got those two
and...
layers in there. Okay, I'll try that. Let's see if maybe the V8 will help. I haven't really used the V8 for backers yet since we just added it. Oh yeah, big difference. I was telling Rayanne how much of a difference it is for skirts. Oh my goodness, it's a huge difference for backers too. Okay, so we're just gonna put this one here, right? The nice thing is you can kind of, it's really only that very, very last one that's super difficult to do. On the secondary, I feel like what really benefits this is keeping them the same. My problem is always the height. Like I'll go to put the flower on it and then I'm like, oh, that one's sticking out more than the other one. But now hopefully we won't have that issue.
Hopefully save us some time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yes. Okay. And then put this one here, right? This is why we feel like we have to prep loops, right? Because triple backers are time consuming. They're so pretty.
Like prep as much as you can of the triple.
And as we said, we usually prep our number of loops based on if we were to do a triple. And if we do a double or a single with that set, then just bonus, we have loops for another year.
For another year, or we have our specialty.
Or we throw them on our... I got that staple in a little too far. Is that going to be okay, or should I remove it and put it down?
I think it should be okay.
But by the time you get the flower, we usually have we can still do the same thing and test with flowers, right? Because this is a deluxe, it would be like a 7.5, right? Oh yeah, that's not going to be a problem. Okay. Okay. And you said you would do the other one the very last, right?
The top and the bottom.
Okay, I know triples are time consuming, But I still feel like that I've done this in half the time than when I did those those triples by myself, because I haven't had to take the loops off 3 times to. I'm glad to know that that happens to you every now and then.
Yes.
As well. Okay, so now I can put this one, right? And you said you kind of usually put this one down a little bit further.
So that you get the shape of the heart.
Oh yeah, that really it's almost like the point of the heart, right? Okay, put it in there. I have to get used to holding this now that it's with that fold. Sometimes I like squeeze this.
Or you can also cut from the hole. And
yeah, this one may be easier to do it that way. Do you cut it that way?
Yeah,
I cut it that way and then I fold it over. Okay, make sure we want it down a little bit further and in the center. And I bet the P3 will fit in there a little bit better. All right. Okay. And then we just got to get this one in there, right?
And I would bring that one down.
You want to oh yeah, because that way we really see the.
Right. And you don't want to use the cut on that top left hole.
This one?
On the left.
This one?
And then stick the stapler in. It'll be easier to stick it in.
Oh yeah. But I gotta make sure I get it's still straight. Like that? You happy with that one? Okay, now I can bring it in just a little bit more. I sometimes like only doing one staple on that one because you can move it around and then we know it's gonna be hot glued in. Okay, so there is our backer that's gonna be ready for flowers. Yes. Before we put the skirt on, I just wanted to show you what it looks like. It's on a skirt, and we just use these. We actually just reuse these over and over again, just any ribbon, and we just staple it on there. And then this is our completed skirt ready to go on. And this strip rayon, it's a double, so this is 9 inches, right? If they wanted to use the same dimensions of ours, they could use 9 inches. So let's set it down and we'll show you Rayanne's trick for putting this together with the pipe cleaners. So what's important here is that we line it up, is that right?
We'll push it up to the holes that we have for the pipe cleaner.
These right here, right? You want to be able to see the holes, right? Okay. And then I know we're going to use this to create the same holes, but what part do you put it about right there?
I would do it like right in the middle.
About in the middle right there? Okay, so I'm going to just, and you don't use a ruler, you just kind of eyeball it, right?
I just eyeball it.
Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. Be careful not to poke your finger through, right? And so then we're just going to kind of eyeball it, right? Right over here. I did this last year all by myself. I was so impressed with, my mom was super impressed with me, actually. There's a staple there. I want to get that out so I don't poke myself.
Make sure that it's pretty even.
Oh, okay. So we got to make sure as even as we can.
Yeah, right? I mean, you can still eyeball it. It's just...
But that probably from your angle, it's a little bit higher, right? I can see. Okay. But that's another reason why it's important to line it up and keep it centered here, right? Because that'll make sure your skirt is centered with your... Okay. And then we're going to do this one over here.
I would go down a little bit.
Just, you tell me. I can't, normally I would be doing it where you are. So you be the one that tells me right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then we're ready to show them how to put the triple together.
Let's put the loops in.
Let's just put it in there. And you leave these twisted, right?
I untwist them. Untwist them.
Okay. And then we're just going to literally put the pipe cleaner in there, right? You're right that although, you know, it's kind of like me and the Cricut scissors, I let you have a weeding tool because it does create the perfect size hole.
Is that one untwisted?
Oh, no. Thank you.
And we don't put any hot glue on it
Not yet.
We want to make sure that the skirt's straight and all the ribbon, you know, all the braids are
So we're going to pull it really tight, right?
Pull it really tight.
Make sure we don't have to do any changes.
I would just push this down.
Yeah, and then it really,
you'll know. pull
You'll
it
know
from
when
the
it's full.
backer.
And then we're just going to twist it, right? Maybe just twice for right now.
Right.
Here is our completed triple with just the pipe cleaners. Of course, we're going to add hot glue and all that, but this will give you a chance to kind of look at it, especially with the triples, to make sure that everything is where you want it and all your braids are lining up. But as you can see, not only not only does the pipe cleaner make it much easier, but if it holds on its own like this, we know it has even more added security. So now let's put it down, and I want to show you what Rayanne does with the flowers to make it look like a really true heart shape. Okay, we've also figured out that adding the hot glue and stuff is much easier before the flowers are on there. So we know that it's all good. We know that the holes are where they need to be, but we're just going to loosen this so that we can get some hot glue underneath there, right? Do you do them but one at a time, or do you just undo both of them?
I think you could do both of them.
Yeah.
And then
that just allows us, and we use our Ryobi hot, really hot, high temperature, so you do have to be really careful. And you don't, the nice thing is you don't have to use a massive amount of hot glue, right? Because it already has that pipe cleaner kind of reinforced. We just want to make sure we get it. And then we can just press down and then be real careful because some glue is going to come out right there. I should have my finger protectors on, but
I would do the pipe cleaners.
And then we just twist, and same thing, give it a really good twist again, right? The nice thing is that really applies that pressure to allow the hot glue to. And then we just usually let it set for a minute right before we put it back over, since there's some hot glue that are coming out. So we'll do that, and then we'll turn over and do the flowers. Okay, so we already have 3 prep flowers.
Yes.
You know, we'll do a video to show, there's a couple of ways, but we'll show you our way to prep those flowers. And when we do that, I'll put it in the description below. So again, we're going to use our Ryobi hot.
So be careful.
Yes, be very, very careful. You can see the steam. Kind of put glue for 1 flower at a time, right? And then we're just going to press it.
I always lift it up to make sure it's in the center of that, so that way the flowers are. That's good.
And then we'll just apply a little bit of pressure, right? Let it dry a little bit. And then we'll move on to the next one. I was so proud of myself when I put those triples together all by myself. The great thing about having a partner is that you can do your kind of your own strengths. Let's see. There we go.
There you go.
The bad part is that you sometimes just let your partner do their strengths and use it as an excuse. So I told Rayanne,
the business side.
now that I can do triples, she's going to start doing cutouts. She may think she got a bad end of the deal. What do you guys think? Okay, and then we're going to put our last one on there, right? And we don't put the pipe cleaner through the back or anything like that. And we've never
knock on wood,
Yeah, I think it's this high temp. We do, like Rayanne said, make sure that it lines up so that our flowers line up. So I want to put it, before we do your little trick to make it look like a true heart, I want to put it up on the costumer for them, and I'll take a picture of it so we can show them a before and after of what it really looks like.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so I can't remember, is this something that we added last year? It's last year or this season before. So this is how our hearts used to be, but we really wanted them to be a true heart shape, and the problem is you've got this gap right here, right? So you create these little little things that we're gonna put right in there, right? And then it's gonna really fill in that gap. And you just use,
like, if it's a 7.5 inch mum, I'll use the 7.5 inch flower.
And you use usually what, 2 petals?
Yep.
And so we literally just have kind of like a drawer that have these here taken apart. And so I fold it in half, right? And then I fold it in half again. And then I fold it in half one more time.
And I do that so that it's more full, and then there's also, you staple it at the bottom, and it's easier to put in there and glue.
Yeah, I liked it because I can put a little glue right here and then really anchor it in there. Okay, so now that I have it, I'm going to grab it up here, right? And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. Do you put it on both sides usually?
I just put it on one, and
That's
I
what I thought
put that
so.
face down.
And this is the part that's going to be face down, right? And then we're literally, watch your fingers because that glue is really hot. We're just going to place it and then apply a little bit of pressure, right? And then it really just kind of fills
Changes
it
the
out.
shape.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that like it's not sticking out, like it's
You want it to really look like it's all one flower. And you do the same trick with our quads, right?
Yes.
To make them more of like an oval shape. So maybe if I do it this way, they can see this direction a little bit.
I always put glue in there first, and then I stick it in there.
Oh, see, we do it two different ways, and you can do it either way because they both work.
Right.
So we just take this off, right? And we just take 2 petals. So yes, you are using more flowers, but we feel like that the shape really does.
Well, and one flower probably does about 5 or 6 triples.
Okay. So then we'll fold it in half. And fold it in half. And you use 2, like for the ultimates where we use 9.5-inch flowers, you do the same 2 petals, right? Okay.
But I'll use a 9.5-inch
A
flower.
9.5. So you'll use, if you're doing a 6.5, you could do that too, right? So you put the glue
right in there, and then I just shove it up in there.
Okay, so you put the glue, just like if you were gluing a normal flower, you put it on the backer. And then same thing, be real careful with your fingers.
Right.
But then you just kind of give it a little pressure, right? And get it in there. Right. Is that good? And then there's our heart. So we'll put it up on the costumer so you can see it again. Here is our finished triple heart. And let me go and I'll show you the details of some of this mum. Now this mum does not have the boa, and we have not finished the back side of the final backer. If you will look at our finishing touches video, it should be able to take you from this step to your finished mum. So after this, I'm going to show you the before and after side-by-side picture. I think it will really show you how much this one really gives that heart shape. Here's our before and after picture. The one on the right has those flower groupings in it, and we really feel like it gives that true heart shape. We'd love to know, did we help you out? Did we give you some tips? Let us know in the comments below your favorite tip that you've learned for putting triple heart mums together. And if you would like us to do the same thing for a quad mum, give this video a thumbs up so that we will know that's something we can work on in the future. That's it for now, friends. Happy creating.